Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Last Sunday, the clocks went forward here in Ireland, and in previous years, we've always had to put announcements up and remind everybody, don't forget to change your clocks, otherwise we're going to have loads of people arriving late in church. And sure enough, despite all of that, you would still get the same people. I mean, there was one couple, they used to walk in almost every year, late into church with this bewildered expression on their face. But this year we just didn't bother. And you know what? I don't know of anybody that turned up an hour late for church. And the reason is very simple. The reason is now most people don't determine what time it is by an alarm clock or by a clock on the wall or even the clocks on the dashboard of their cars. They rely on their phones, and their smartphones automatically make the time change for them. Now, yeah, I still get caught out when I'm then driving the car a few days later and I look at the clock and nearly panic until I look at my phone and say, oh, I'm all right. Yeah, the clock's changed. But it just brought home to me how the smartphone has totally changed our lives. And I began to think of all the other ways that it's affected our lives. For example, it used to be that I would travel, and sometimes when I'd travel, I remember traveling for 2 weeks to Ghana in West Africa in 1994, and I could only phone Janice one time in that 2 weeks, and I had to go into a post office and book the day beforehand the slot that I could come back and use the phone to make an international phone call. Today, wherever I am in the world, we can talk by phone, we can hook up with a Wi-Fi signal to speak online with WhatsApp phone calls or whatever else. We can send texts. I remember the first time I received an SMS text on a phone. I'm walking down the street in Dublin. We only recently had a cell phone. And I said to Janice, what's wrong with this phone? There's a little picture of an envelope on it. What's that all about? She said, oh, that's a message. And that's how we learned about SMS messages, which sounds weird now because they're so much part of life. Sending and receiving emails on our phones. Keeping in touch with all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, stuff like that. Being able to read books on your phone, being able to read the Bible. I mean, that's a great thing. I remember once I'd preached at church and I was going on to preach in another church, and we went out for lunch first of all. And as I've sat there at dinner, I'm sort of like, oh no, I left my Bible in the last church. I'm not going to have time to go back and get it. My wife said, I'll lend you my Bible. And she lent me this Bible that had a bright pink cover on it. And it was awful. I remember actually going into the next church and bending the covers back so you could just see the pages, because I didn't want anyone to see me carrying this bright pink Bible into church to preach. But today, you've got the Bible on your phone. Languages. When I find myself stuck with half an hour to kill in an airport, or an hour here, or even waiting 5 minutes while the Chinese takeaway gets the order ready for me, I've got a language app on my phone. And in what was previously dead time, I'm now learning Spanish, I'm learning French, I'm learning Italian. Flights, book your flights, check in for your flights. Now, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I still print out my boarding passes as well, just in case the battery dies on my phone for some reason. Making hotel reservations and going in and even checking in with your phone rather than even having to go to the check-in desk. We had a breakdown the other day. The AA, we simply went on the app and they came out, they had the map, they knew exactly where to come. So easy. Maps anyway, whenever I'm driving the car. You know what, I looked in the glove compartment of my car and saw a GPS there. I thought I've not used that GPS for a year. Why? Because it's easier just to use the Maps app on my phone. Banking. I do all my banking on my phone now. I order food. I don't even ring the Chinese takeaway to place the order. I just go on the app and pay on the app and then go 15 minutes later and pick up the food. Parking. When I park in Dublin, I don't have to find a machine, get a ticket, do all that stuff. I just open up the app and I pay for my parking. That's it. I can even check the football scores whenever. It doesn't matter where I am. I can be anywhere in the world, and I can check up almost to the minute what's happening with a football team that I'm following. Life has changed so dramatically, and we never expected that. I remember when I was a boy, there would be programs on TV about what the future would look like in technology. It was all about flying cars. It wasn't about this incredible wealth of information and access that you would be able to hold in the palm of your hand. Why am I sharing all of this? What's this got to do with the gospel? Well, quite simply this, that all these dramatic changes that smartphones have brought, for example, they haven't changed the gospel, and they haven't changed our desire to share the gospel. All it's done is opened up new avenues by which we can share the gospel. And that gives me tremendous hope and confidence, because the great changes that I've seen in my lifetime already, I know there's much greater changes still to come. But I know the gospel will remain the same, and I know our passion to share the gospel will remain the same. And the more changes that happen, whether they appear to be good or bad, they are still going to open up more opportunities for us to share Jesus with more people. And for that, I've rejoiced today in Jesus' name. God bless you. Join us again next time for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.